Now, I've been using Fitbit Charge 6 for the last 2 weeks, and I wanted to show you pro tips that can help you get the best out of your Charge 6. Now, make sure you keep watching till the end, as the last tip will help you resolve one of the biggest issues with the Fitbit Charge 6. Now, the Fitbit Charge 6 comes with a really bright, colorful and responsive AMOLED touchscreen that can be left always on if you wanted to. So to switch on the always display on mode, swipe down on the Charge 6 and scroll all the way up to settings, then display settings, and scroll all the way to the bottom where you'll see the always on display setting. Select it and then you can turn the option on. Once you turn the setting on, you can scroll down and edit the time interval for when you wish to have your always on display mode turned off. So for me, I sleep between 10:30 and 6 a.m. normally, so I'll set that time interval, and during 10:30 at night and 6 a.m. in the morning, my always on display will be turned off. The next tip is how to customize the clock faces on the Fitbit Charge 6. Now, there are a few options for customizing the clock faces on your tracker. To do this, go into the Fitbit app first and make sure that the tracker is connected and synced to the app, and then select it from the top left corner, then select Charge 6 and then Gallery from the options presented. Now you'll see that your default clock face here has an option to customize the clock face. Select it and then you can choose things like the color of the clock and pick key metrics that you can cycle through on the main clock face. Now, if you want to change the clock face entirely, then go back and pick clocks from the tabs you see at the top. And now you can choose to install any of these to your Charge 6 directly. Now remember that the ones that have a gold border around it need a premium subscription, whilst the others are free to install. The Charge 6 comes with a blood oxygen saturation sensor that can measure your SpO2 levels when you're sleeping automatically. Now, to make sure that your Charge 6 is measuring your blood oxygen saturation levels every day when you're sleeping automatically, first go into the Fitbit app, then select your device from the top left corner, select Charge 6 and then pick Gallery from the options. From the tabs available at the top, pick Apps, then scroll all the way down and then open SpO2. You want to make sure that this app is installed on your Charge 6 for it to automatically measure the blood oxygen saturation levels. Now, provided this is installed on your Charge 6 and you've had a couple of nights of sleep recorded on your device, swipe up on your Charge 6, keep scrolling till you come to the SpO2 metric here, which should now display the blood oxygen saturation percentage here. So if you can't see a number here, make sure that the tracker is synced with the Fitbit app so it refreshes it. Now you can also view the trend of your blood oxygen saturation levels over a period of time within the Fitbit app. And to do this, go onto the Today page, which is the main page of the Fitbit app. Scroll down to the Health section and select Health Metrics, then Oxygen Saturation, and then you can pick a week to see the trend in oxygen saturation levels. Selecting About will give you a bit more information on what SpO2 is, how Fitbit calculates it, and why it matters. The next tip is how to set up custom replies to incoming messages on your Fitbit Charge 6. So you can set up the Charge 6 in a way that you can receive notifications all day from your phone straight onto the tracker, and then send quick replies to messages and text notifications. Now, to set up custom replies, go into the Fitbit app and then select Charge 6 from the top left corner, select Charge 6 again, scroll down and then select Notifications. Now within Notifications, select Quick Replies, and here you can customize the replies for each app that you're receiving notifications for on your Charge 6, and you can also set up default replies that will be applicable to all the apps that are sending you notifications. So I can change these custom replies here, and once you sync your Charge 6 to the app, these replies should be available on your tracker as well. Next step is how to use Google Maps and the turn-by-turn navigation feature on the Charge 6. Another good feature that has made its way to the Fitbit Charge 6 since Google acquired Fitbit is turn-by-turn navigation using Google Maps. Now you can't pick a destination and start navigation from the Charge 6 itself, but you can get turn-by-turn directions from Google Maps running on your phone straight onto your tracker. To do this, you need to make sure that Google Maps is first installed on your phone, and then go into the Fitbit app, select the Charge 6 from the top left corner, and then Charge 6 again. Now pick Google Maps, select Setup, and that's the app now set up. You can now pick which type of navigations you wish to be displayed on the tracker, and by default driving is unselected here, primarily because of safety issues and concerns. And now if you go into Google Maps on your phone, set a destination, and then hit start, you'll see the Charge 6 connect into Google Maps, and that's the navigation instructions available straight onto the tracker. The next tip is how to use the YouTube Music app on the Fitbit Charge 6. So the YouTube Music app is pre-installed onto the Fitbit Charge 6 when you buy it, and you can use it to control the music being played on your phone's YouTube Music app. To do this, you first need to make sure that you've got the YouTube Music app pre-installed on your phone, and then go into the Fitbit app, select the Charge section on the top left corner, select Charge 6 again, and now pick the YouTube Music app here. Select Setup, and you'll then be asked if you want to turn on exercise music recommendations from the YouTube Music app. You can agree or decline this, it's up to you. I'll agree to this, and that's the app set up now. Now on your Charge 6, swipe right and tap onto the YouTube Music app, and you should see the current song from the app on your phone. Now if you have Bluetooth headphones or earbuds connected to your phone, you can now use the Charge 6 to control the music being played in your headphones or earbuds. Now on the tracker itself, you can swipe left to show track skipping controls, and swiping left again shows you the volume controls. Adding or removing more playlists in the YouTube Music app on your phone will also be reflected on the Charge 6. The next tip is how to change the default activity settings and goals for your Fitbit Charge 6. When you set up your Fitbit Charge 6 for the very first time, you'll be asked for some information about yourself, and the Fitbit app will set some goals for you to achieve. And over time, you might feel that you want to tweak some of these goals. So for example, if you've been hitting your 10,000 steps goal every day and you want to increase that, or if you feel that 10,000 steps is too much and you want to start with something lower, say 6 or 7,000 steps, and then increase it as time passes by, you can do this within the Fitbit app. To access this setting, open the Fitbit app and then select the steps icon and select the 3 dots in the top right corner and then activity settings. And here you can find the daily activity goals, which you can edit individually. So I can change the steps goal here from 10,000 or the active zone minutes to be achieved per day. And you can also change the time interval for when you get those annoying move notifications from the tracker during the day. The next tip is how to set up irregular heart rhythm monitoring on your Fitbit Charge 6. Fitbit Charge 6 is capable of continuously monitoring for irregular heart rhythms and give you notifications if it detects irregularities in your heart rhythms, which could be a sign of atrial fibrillation. To enable this feature, go into the Fitbit app and select the U tab in the bottom right corner of the screen. Scroll down to Health Assessments and scroll all the way to the right to the irregular rhythm notifications. Now select View History, and here you'll have the option to set up. Scroll down and have a read through the About AFib section. Next, select Get Started and enter your date of birth and if you've been diagnosed with AFib before. You'll then be asked if you wish to be notified of irregular heart rhythms. Scroll down and select Allow. Now there are some instructions here you need to follow to ensure that the Charge 6 and the Fitbit app are constantly monitoring for irregular rhythms. Select Next and make sure you read this section carefully, as it tells you what to do if you do receive an irregular rhythm notification from the Fitbit app. Now select Turn On feature, and once you've read through the points here, select Next, and that's the irregular rhythm notifications turned on. So the next step is how to get a PDF report of your ECG reading. Fitbit have somehow managed to cram in ECG sensors within the tiny body of the Charge 6, and this is quite a nice addition. You can also export a PDF copy of your ECG test, which you can then use to forward to your doctor for further advice. Now, to take an ECG reading on your Charge 6, swipe left or right on the tracker till you get to the ECG app, and then hold the metallic sides of the tracker with your thumb and index finger for 30 seconds. Now make sure that you're sat still and have the tracker worn on the wrist when you're taking the reading. After the reading is taken, the tracker will give you a very brief feedback of the test, and you can then move on to the Fitbit app from where you can generate a PDF copy. So open the Fitbit app and then select the U tab in the bottom right corner of the screen. Scroll down to Health Assessments and then select View History from the ECG tab here. You'll then see your latest reading here displayed. Select it and then you'll see the option to export a PDF here. Select this option and it might take a few minutes for the Fitbit app to generate the report. Now, if you don't receive a notification automatically, go back to the app after a few minutes and then click on the Notifications tab in the top right corner of the screen, and you should see the report generated here. You can now download that, and for example, this is what it looks like for my ECG test. The next step is how to take EDA or electrodermal activity readings on your Fitbit Charge 6. So the metallic sides on the Charge 6 also double up as EDA sensors that can measure stress markers, and the Charge 6 can then guide you to relax a bit more, lower your heart rate level and lower your stress levels. To take an EDA scan on the Charge 6, Swipe left or right on the tracker and then select the EDA scan app. Now by default, the Charge 6 will have a 3-minute session selected, but you can choose a different duration by scrolling down and then selecting this edit button here. Once you've picked a duration and started the session, make sure that you hold the metallic sides similar to the ECG reading that we've done, and remain still and relaxed for the entire duration of the scan. Now once the scan is completed, the Charge 6 will give you some feedback and it might suggest some additional breathing exercises and mindfulness sessions to try and reduce your stress. The next tip is how to magnify text and graphics on the Fitbit Charge 6. The display on the Charge 6, as colorful and bright it is still a bit on the smaller side at 1.04 inches, but there is a way to magnify text and graphics on the tracker to help you see text and graphics much more clearly if you're in the middle of an activity. Now to do this, swipe down on your Charge 6 and then scroll all the way to the top to settings. Select it and then scroll down till you see magnify. And once you've selected magnify, turn on the magnify setting. You can select whether you'd like to magnify 2 times or 3 times into the display. Now once you come out of the setting, to magnify anything on the Charge 6, tap the screen 3 times and the screen will zoom in to show larger text. I personally think is quite useful if you're outdoors and want to focus on a specific metric during your activity. Okay, so we're almost there, and one of the most frequently asked questions by Charge 6 owners is how to use GPS for outdoor activities. To do this, pick an outdoor activity on the Charge 6. So for example, I'll pick run here. Scroll down till you see the GPS option here and then switch it on. Now once it's switched on, you can scroll all the way back up and you'll see this GPS connecting text at the top. You can start the activity even before the tracker finishes locking onto the GPS signal, and the Charge 6 will automatically pick up your position once it's locked into the signal. But the GPS accuracy on the Fitbit Charge 6 is incredibly inaccurate, as I demonstrated in my full in-depth review of the Charge 6, and there is a way to actually improve the accuracy of location tracking when you're using the Charge 6, which brings us to the last tip, which is how to improve the accuracy of GPS on the Fitbit Charge 6. Now to make sure that the location of your outdoor activities is recorded as accurately as possible, you can set up the Charge 6 and the Fitbit app to either use your phone's GPS system or let the Charge 6 decide between the phone's GPS system or its own built-in system, depending on which signal is stronger or weaker when you're outdoors. To do this on your Charge 6, swipe down on the tracker and scroll all the way to the top and select settings. Scroll down to GPS, and by default the option here is built-in. Tapping it once will switch it to your phone's GPS, and tapping it again will set it to dynamic, which means the Charge 6 can switch to your phone's GPS if that has a better signal than its own antenna. So hopefully those pro tips will help you maximize the use of your Fitbit Charge 6. Now don't be shy from subscribing to the channel if you found that video helpful and want to see more tutorials and pro tips just like this. Now if you're in the market for a premium fitness tracker, make sure you check this video out before you go ahead and purchase anything. See you in the next one.